very confident and now I'm not. Sorry, I was tearing up a little bit. You and other Democrats have talked about how you're filing huge lawsuits against the administration, but we've seen Trump ignore courts before, and we have to assume that these lawsuits will take a long time. What happens if the courts rule against him and the Trump administration still refuses to comply and nothing changes? What will change?
Yeah, I mean that's a good question, a real worry. We all have the anxiety. Obviously, these checks and balances were created with the idea in mind that we would have an executive that cared about the rule of law, that cared about their oath of office, that cared about the Constitution. I don't think our founding fathers could have imagined someone as lawless and as callous could ever become the president of the United States like Trump. I'm sure they're rolling over in their graves at the moment. My understanding is that when the rulings are ignored, obviously the judges have the ability to say, why aren't you following through? It is a process. Our justice system is slow moving. Then they have tools in their toolbox, right? They can sanction them. They can issue a fine for the number of days that they're not abiding by that, and then they can eventually hold them in contempt and jail them. And send the marshals to pick up the folks who are supposed to carry out the orders. As the judges, the particular judge whose order is not being followed can do that. But that is again a process. The biggest worry is that as things move through the courts, we're 9 days away from the Supreme Court possibly hearing some of these cases. So what those rulings might actually look like, and how do we move forward after that? Again, because this is so unprecedented, it is a scary and confusing time for a lot of people. We've created litigation and response task force for the Democratic caucus. There's about 40 of us that are members of that, and every day we're working through some of these scenarios to see what the possibilities are. We'll take a couple more. I know, I want to stay too, but I think we are out of the building.
I said, please, I'm a public school teacher.
Oh, no, I can take my question.
Okay, so I'm a public school educator in St. Paul. When I told my kids and showed them a picture of you on my computer this morning that I was coming here tonight, they asked me to please bring me with them because they thought you looked super cool. To learn about this, they're 8, 9, and 10-year-olds.
That's very sweet.
So the children, since the election, have a lot of feelings. They're hearing a lot. They know a lot. I've been asked, is it true that the president doesn't like brown people? Is it true that he's taking away SNAP? My mom says he hates women. What would you say to my 7, 8, 9-year-olds to help them feel better with who they are and where they're going in life?
I would say yes, but I love you.
Yeah.
I'm going to be here for you, and you are lucky to be in Minneapolis and Minnesota, where people are incredible neighbors, they are loving. We have a state where you are going to be protected and your family is going to be protected. Yeah, I will say we are 35 minutes over the time we're supposed to be in this room, so I want to stay and maybe get through the line that exists if possible. So if you can get to your question as fast as you can, so we don't have people marshalling us out of the building, that would be great.
Your cameras are out too, they said.
Huh?
Your cameras are no longer showing
Oh, I don't care about that. I was actually surprised they came. I thought they got me. I was going to let you guys in or something. But
Okay, I'll be brief. I'm a very proud Minnesotan. I'm currently living in Europe, just as an aside. My husband should be standing next to me tonight. He RSVP'd to come to this event, but at the last minute backed out because he was afraid to come here and speak. He immigrated here legally. He has a green card, but was afraid after what happened to the Columbia University student to come up here and speak. I guess I missed the part in the Constitution where the First Amendment right is only granted to white citizens like myself, and this should not be. Mass deportation of legal immigrants and immigrants living here does not put America first. I want to thank you for speaking out for USA on the Hill. I work in Sub-Saharan Africa in infectious disease, and I can guarantee everybody in this room, infectious diseases know no borders, and we need USA to continue the fight against these important infectious diseases in Africa. Now, to my question, I was awarded a Fulbright scholarship last year in the Biden administration. I received an email a couple weeks ago, saying that the funding to Fulbright is now cut. I am shocked because it's a bipartisan program that's been funded by Congress. Cutting it does not put America first. It hurts the best and brightest of America and American institutions. I would like to know what I can count on you for in Congress to ensure that the programs that have been funded by Congress, such as Fulbright and USA, that have been now granted that they cannot be tossed, how is the funding, how is Congress going to ensure that the funding is released, these programs that are being supported?
What an interesting turn of events in America. We've become allergic to the best of the brightest, to research, to excellence. It's quite unfortunate. My staff, Team Ilhan, can you all raise your hands? Grab a card from them, and they'll look into ways that we might be able to direct them to. Yeah, also I want to shout out my staff while we're here. We have Connor McNutt, who is my chief. Jean, who's my district director. Ali, who's the deputy district director over here. Nikki, who manages our constituent work. Rudwani, who is on our comms team. Adrian, who else is in the room? Okay. Yeah, I think Adrian and Talia and Fran might have registered you all, so full house. Go ahead. And Ladan, yes.
Hi. I just want to say thank you for being the most responsive representative I've ever done. Just ask my questions. What are the Democrats doing to fight back against the reduction in force and the harassment of federal workers, especially for our VA? And our transgenders are finding out at the same time as we are that their care is being stripped away. This will undoubtedly increase the rates of suicide and mental health crises among that community. Is there anything we can do to help them get the care they deserve if VA does not come through?
Oh, 2 questions at a time. Okay.
Well, thank you for the time. And I'll move right to the question. Whether we like it or not, President Trump tapped into some kind of emotions and fears and garnered votes from individuals who had previously voted for President Biden, President Obama, etc. You've talked a bit about the strategy, how we need to come together, but how are you going to reach those voters? Because if not, we're going to be asking the same questions in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think to that, like I said, people are working on, figuring out. To me, I think it's simple. We have to show up for people. We have to give them a reason to vote for us. I think assuming a certain demographic just will vote for us is not a strategy. I don't think yelling at people and telling them that because they are a certain demographic that they should vote for us is a strategy. I think what we are seeing some Democrats do is showing up in parts where people didn't expect them to show up. I think that is the way in which we reacclimate ourselves to the folks that we want to vote for us and have traditionally voted for us. So obviously we've been racing we are in the minority, so our inquiries are not being responded to. We've been sending letters to understand folks who are fired, but the litigation is working in many of the agencies, whether it's the VA, whether it's the Department of Interior, whether it's USAID. Like, we've seen the courts say these firings are unjust and you need to bring everyone back. And I think that has happened not just because of the litigation, but because so many of us put a spotlight on who is being fired and the work that they were doing. We know that 90% of VA employees are literally providing healthcare service. In a clinic in Ohio, one of the persons that they got rid of was the only person who was answering the suicide hotline. Right? Like, that is so. So that's the other thing that we're doing. My State of the Union guest was a veteran who also was a federal employee who was fired, rehired, and then fired again. It just shows you the chaos in which the federal government is functioning at the moment. So those are some of the things that we're doing, and I know that the VA services that are going to go away once they cut the 83,000 jobs that I talked about earlier, and once they pass their budget reconciliation and gut resources for the VA, we know that the folks who live here are going to rely on Minnesota, and with them also taking away our state and county and city municipal dollars, it's going to be really hard. And so I am saddened that people who we've asked to serve are the ones who we are first abandoning, and it feels really unfortunate, but we continue to advocate for them.